Neasden Hindu temple is an absolute must-see while you're in London. I can't believe that I haven't come to see it before. It's absolutely breathtaking. Unfortunately, I seem to have picked a day when they have scaffolding up because they're preparing for an event, but that stuff wouldn't normally be there. The temple is Britain's first authentic Hindu temple, and it actually stands at around 70 feet. It was for a time the largest Hindu temple outside of India, but it does no longer hold that title. So the temple was actually crowdfunded by the local community. It cost around 12 million to build and continues to be entirely funded by the local community and its worshippers. To construct, it took 5,000 tons of Bulgarian limestone and Italian and Indian marble, which was hand carved in India before being assembled in London, the process taking around 2.5 years, and it was completed in 1995. The project was assisted by more than 1,000 volunteers who helped with construction and fundraising, which included even collecting tin cans which were used for recycling. Even more impressive is that the whole building was designed and constructed entirely according to ancient Vedic architectural texts, and no structural steel was used whatsoever. Sadly, you can't film inside the temple, which I'm sure creates a much better atmosphere, but at the same time, as a photographer and videographer, my hands were itching because it's so beautiful. It's probably one of the most beautiful buildings I've ever been inside, and you're just going to have to take my word on that. So the rooms that you're allowed to see as a visitor, you've got the entrance hall and the shop, which is very wooden and carved, and there's natural light coming in. And then there's two, I would say, worship rooms. There's one downstairs, which is it's all white and carved, and everything is so intricate. The walls are carved, the pillars are carved, and then there's a lot of gold in there as well. And then upstairs you've got an even bigger room, which again is absolutely intricately carved all the way up into the dome and all the pillars. And then you've got several doors which are only opened at several points throughout the day. We were lucky enough that when we went they were open. And they basically have inside murti, which is statues of deities, which are carved from marble and clothed in robes and flower garlands. These deities are actually treated as if they are living beings, and they are washed every morning. There's also an area around the back of the temple which you're not allowed to see. You can see a few glimpses of it as you walk inside, and it has some water features and garden areas. You can only really access that if you're a student here. So one thing you do have to note is when visiting the temple, you do have to wear something that's below the knee and have your arms covered, and you're also not allowed to take selfie sticks in. They were really adamant that we weren't allowed to have it even on the grounds. And you also have to remove your shoes, which you can leave in a shoe rack as you enter the temple. At the front of the temple is this giant gold statue, which I'm probably going to pronounce this wrong, but it's Pramukh Swami Maharaj, and he was the creator of this temple. What I love is these rosary beads in his hand that are actually made out of styrofoam, I think, and they blow in the wind. This incredible detail that you see here is what's continued to the inside. The inside is just as beautiful and just as ornate as the outside, possibly more so. Just over the road from the temple in the car park is an Indian shop, which is called Shayona, and it has a restaurant in there, a main store, and then a little takeout fridge that has some pre-made boxes. So they had these kazar mangoes, and I actually got a crate of those, and they were absolutely delicious. And they have quite a lot of unusual fruits and veggies. So these here, chiku, my pronunciation is probably really bad. Every time I see a fruit or vegetable that I've never had before, I have to get it. So I actually got those, and they were delicious. I want more of them. They kind of taste like caramel. Just over there you saw some guava, some raw dates. This is a little bit like a custard apple, basically, pretty much the same fruit. These are a type of gooseberry. There was a whole fridge of Indian desserts. Indian desserts are actually very experimental with flavours. They often have ingredients such as almonds, pistachios, and spiced with cardamom, nutmegs, cloves, and black pepper. They are also often decorated with nuts and even gold and silver leaf, as you can see, lots of them were here. They were really pretty. I just don't eat sugar, but otherwise I would have tried quite a few of them, just because of how nice they look. Some more random vegetables. I don't even know what they are. I've never seen them before. I actually got some of this fruit to try it, but unfortunately I felt like by the time I got it home it just was a little bit off. But it basically is very, very unsweet, so it's almost a savoury fruit. There's lots of different and unusual snacks here, like these dry okra fingers. This, I believe, is what you use to make bubble tea. So then they have this restaurant area where there's all these fridges where you can get takeout food selections. I actually got some cassava from there. And then this main restaurant where they have an all-you-can-eat buffet, and it's actually very, very good value. I bought some seasoned cassava to take away.